The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus went across the Sea of Galilee. A large crowd followed him because they saw the signs he was performing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. The Jewish feast of Passover was near. When Jesus raised his eyes, he saw that a large crowd was coming. He said to Philip, "Where can we buy enough food for them to eat?" He said this to test him because he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 200 days' wages worth of food would not be enough for each of them to have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, the brother of Simon Peter, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good are these for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people reclined?" Now there was a great deal of grass in that place. So the men reclined, about 5,000 in number. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed them to those who were reclining, and also as much of the fish as they wanted. When they had had their fill, he said to his disciples, "Gather the fragments left over so that nothing will be wasted." So they collected them and filled 12 wicker baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves that had fed more than they could eat. When the people saw the sign he had done, they said, "This is truly the prophet, the one who is to come into the world." Since Jesus knew that they were going to come and carry him off to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountains alone. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So, we heard from our Gospel reading the narrative about the feeding of multitude, more than 5,000, because what were counted were only men, not counting the women and children, as evident by that boy who had 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. So more than 5,000. Now, it happened in a deserted place where Jesus and his disciples withdrew. If we are to take into consideration the accounts from the Synoptic Gospels, now, he wanted them to go to a far place just by themselves in order to give his disciples a chance to have some time to rest and even to eat, because there were so many people coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, neither to rest. Kaya the only way is to get into a boat to cross the sea into the other side. But people saw them and nahulaan nila kung saan sila papunta. So on foot, they hurried, going to that place. In the account of the Synoptics, mas nauna pa nga yung mga tao na nakarating doon sa lugar na pupuntahan nila. But in the Gospel from John, nauna sila doon, nakaupo na nga sila, sa may paanan ng bundok, nagpapahinga. And the Gospel said, when Jesus raised his eyes, he saw a large crowd coming to them. And it happened na it was siguro towards late in the afternoon, Kaya tinanong niya si Philip, the gospel said, to test him. Where can they buy food enough for this multitude of people? But Philip said, kahit na yung sahod ng isang ordinaryong manggagawa sa loob ng 200 araw, hindi sasapat upang ang bawat isa ay magkaroon kahit man lang konti na maisusubo sa bibig upang makakain. But the brother of Simon Peter, Andrew, said, may bata dito. May dalang 5 barley loaves at 2 tuyo. Pero ano ang magagawa nito sa napakaraming iyan? So, Jesus ordered that the people would be asked to recline, to take their seat or their places, dahil that area was a grassy area. No? Perhaps in some other time, when we deal with this, titignan natin itong mga detalyeng ito. No? And he took bread, gave thanks, and after which, he distributed to the people with the help of his disciples. Many commentaries would say that this event of the miracle of the multiplication of bread, feeding a multitude of people, is a prefiguration of the Eucharist. At any rate, it was mentioned that it was near Passover. Because kung tutusin, parang realize that we are in the Easter season. Ano? Tapos, bakit parang bumalik tayo, no, to an event that happened in the middle of the course of Jesus' public ministry. No? If we are to consider the chronology of events, as would be presented to us in the gospel readings for these coming days, this narrative about the multiplication of bread would be the focal point of the series of gospel reading next week. And what would be the series of the gospel readings next week? The bread of life discourse. The bread of life discourse. Because tomorrow in the gospel we would see that from this place where they are in the gospel of today, you see the concluding of the gospel was Jesus going up to the mountain by himself para matakasan niya itong mga taong ito na gusto siyang kunin upang gawing hari. No? In the gospel of tomorrow, okay, sa pupuntahan niya yung kanyang mga alagad, until makarating sila doon sa kabilang ibayo. At doon magsisimula yung bread of life discourse natin, the whole of next week. No? The gospel readings would all be about the bread of life. The bread came down from heaven. Okay, so yun yung chronology of events. Now, balikan natin ito. The miracle of the multiplication of bread, the feeding of the multitude. Now, totoo naman that it is indeed a miracle, because not only the Gospel of John, not only the Johannine account, as it is called technically, but even the synoptic Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, have this account of the multiplication of bread, which means that it really happened. Kasi bakit mauulit in the 4 accounts of the Gospel kung hindi totoong nangyaring ito? But I would like us to note that in this miracle of the multiplication of bread, we are presented one that is really, really, really so wonderful. If we can even say it, that this can even be considered as the greatest among all the miracles of Jesus. Why? I would like to invite everyone that we try to approach the gospel in a manner that can be contextualized in the present situation that we are into. As regards this miracle of multiplying bread. No? The miracle of multiplying bread. And then perhaps I will try to put some connections also with my homily during the celebration of the evening Mass of the Lord's Supper last Holy Thursday evening as regards the bread. The bread. Okay, so when Jesus saw the large crowd, he knew what he was going to do out of concern for them. Bakit? Kasi in one of the synoptic gospels, no, when Jesus saw the crowds, it was said that he had pity on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began a long teaching session with them. And then after a while, one of the disciples told him, "You better dismiss the crowd because we are in a deserted place and it is quite late." So that they can go to the nearby villages in order for them to buy provisions for themselves. But Jesus said, hindi nila kinakailangan umalis. Dahil baka pag-aalis sila, mag-collapse sila sa pagod at sa gutom. You see the concern of the shepherd. Because here, we are also presented of Jesus as a shepherd who had that sense of pity, who had that sense of care and concern and compassion for the flock. For the flock. Kaya pagdating pa lang yung large crowd, makita niya ito, after having raised his eyes, kagad-agad ang nasa isip niya, paano kayang pakakanin ng mga taong ito? Kasi alam niya, gutom na itong mga to, liban pa doon sa pagod sila. See, the concern of the shepherd to nourish the flock, to nourish his sheep, because there is always that loving care and consideration for them. They must be very tired for having run on foot just to be with him, just to be with them. Gusto ni Jesus makaiwas muna sila sa mga tao, pero ang mga tao ayaw lumubay sa kanya. Why? Maaaring sabihin na natin ang babaw ng dahilan. It is not perhaps really because of faith, but because of the miracles that they have seen being performed by Jesus. Pwedeng, for many, it's out of curiosity. Kaya sila sumusunod. Or maaaring sila din merong pangangailangan na gusto nilang makatanggap ng milagro. Kaya, running on foot. At bakit kaya ganun napakarami? Tandaan natin, considering the context of the gospel of today, it was near the Passover, the feast of the Passover. So with that, alam naman natin, historically, na kapag palapit na ang Passover, maraming mga pilgrims from all over ang nagpupunta sa Jerusalem in order to celebrate as a people the Passover. Ano na nga yung Passover? Yung kanilang pagkalaya mula sa Ehipto. Kasi ipinag-utos ng Diyos yan after they had crossed the sea. Remember that account? So every year. And it was even obligatory for all male Jews. So siguro, yung mga pilgrims, nung makita nila itong napakaraming mga tao nagmamadali, they were curious, bakit kaya? Saan pupunta itong mga to? At maaring marami sa mga pilgrims na ito ang sumunod, sumama doon sa crowd na iyon, kung saan naroon si Jesus. But anyway, hindi natin maiwasang i-consider ang ilang mga detalye ng ating ebanghelyo ngayon. But this Philip, after having heard what Jesus asked him, where can we buy food? Ako, hindi po pwede. Imagine yung 200 days wage. Yung sahod na yun, hindi sasapat na magkaroon man lang kahit kakapurit. Ang bawat isa sa napakaraming mga taong ito Here is where we see a pessimistic person. Hindi pwede, imposible ang iniisip mo. No. But the gospel was clear. It was only to test Philip because Jesus knew what he was going to do. What does that mean? What does that mean? Remember, he was God. And as God, no, he has the power, he has the ability to create out of nothing, even from nothing, pwedeng magkameron. Remember, in the temptation in the desert, what was the first temptation of the devil? Why don't you turn this stone into bread and feed yourself? Because you are hungry. He knew what to do because he knew what he is capable of doing. He knew what he can do. But in testing Philip, what does this tell us? Kahit na alam niya kung ano ang pwede niya gawin, kahit alam niya kung ano ang kayang gawin, no? He was withholding himself. Why? Because he wanted, as always, to involve, to initiate the participation of men sa kanyang mga gawain. Sa kanyang mga gawain. Doon pa lang makita natin ito. Pero, ano yung naging tugon ni Felipe? Pessimism. Hindi pwede ang iniisip mo. Mahirap yan. Wala tayong pwedeng magawa para sa mga iyan. Pero, here came Andrew. And here we see, no, what is typical of Andrew. Yung tao na palaging nagdadala ng iba kay Jesus. Remember, the Greeks whom Andrew brought to Jesus. And now, ano sabi niya? Oh, meron pong batang lalaki dito. Merong 5 pirasong barley loaves at 2 tuyo, pero ano magagawa nito? Ang dami niya. Pero sige, anyway, ito yung bata. No? Siguro, nung marinig ni Andres, yung sinabing iyon ni Jesus kay Felipe, at sumagot si Felipe ng ganon, sabi ni Andres sa kanya sarili, tignan ko kung ano ang magagawa ko. Tignan ko kung ano ang magagawa ko. Titignan ko kung ano ang meron. Titignan ko kung ano ang pwedeng magsilbing posibilidad sa sitwasyon na aming hinaharap, sa sitwasyon na aming kinalalagyan. Ano naman ito? Optimism? No? A disposition of considering all the possibilities, all the probability in order to respond to a particular situation. See? And after having heard what Andrew said, as a response to what Jesus had said as a test, he said, okay, you ask the people to recline. The place is grassy, indicating may abundance of food para sa mga tupa, di ba? Kasi madamo. Luntian ng lugar. Maraming pagkain. True enough. So, ano ginawa ni Jesus? He took the 5 barley loaves and gave thanks to God. After which, he distributed. And every one of them ate as much as they wanted, as much as they could. the multiplication bread. Was that the real miracle in this account? The bread multiplied. That there was that sense of change with the bread from 5 barley loaves into thousands of bread of loaves. And so with the fish, where lies the real miracle in this event? In this event. I suppose the real miracle here is not so much in the very act of Jesus of multiplying bread, but I suppose the real miracle here is that act of sharing, that act of giving, that sense of generosity which was exemplified by that boy. Exemplified by that boy. I would not say that from among the many in that so large a crowd, that the boy was the only one bringing food with him. I'm not saying that. Take note. In the beginning of this reflection, I emphasize on the fact that because it was near Passover, that there were also pilgrims in that crowd. Pilgrims who were on their way to Jerusalem. Normally, when pilgrims begin in their journey, sigurado yan because it will take them days even before they can reach Jerusalem. May baon sila. That's something very definite. Merong baon ang mga iyon. No? So in other words, maliban dito sa batang lalaking ito, meron sa mga taong nandoon ang may dalang baon. Ang may dalang baon. So that when they saw this child giving what he had, perhaps affected those others and were also led to give and to share what they had. In other words, the miracle here is not so much of the changing of the bread, but the changing of people from being selfish to being selfless. By being led to give and share what they have. Kasi tignan natin, itong batang ito, pwede niyang sabihin, teka muna. Bakit ganyan? Ba't yung kukunin yung baon ko? Ay, akin ito eh. Sapat lang para sa akin ito kung tutuusin, kukunin ninyo para dyan sa napakaraming iyan. Ano naman ako? Problema na nila yun. Pupunta-punta sila dito, wala silang baon. Pagkatapos, ako ngayon ang peperwisyuhin ninyo. Yung akin, kukunin ninyo. Would that not be unfair? Di ba? Pwede yung bata naging makasarili. Pwede yung bata naging maramot. Pwede yung bata naging walang pakialam sa kanyang kapwa. Pero hindi. Nagparaya siya ng kanyang sarili sa pagbibigay kung ano yung meron siya. And this perhaps had challenged, had touched, had moved, and led everyone else to give and share what they had. Now, tingnan natin ano yung ibinigay itong batang ito na kanyang baon. 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. I think it was last Holy Thursday when I made mention about something on barley loaves. Ang barley loaf, noong mga panahong iyon, ang cheapest among bread sa mga tinapay. Cheapest. Perhaps this boy was coming from a very poor family that can only afford to have barley kinds of loaves. What else can we note about barley loaves? Dahil mura ito yung ginagamit nilang pagkain ng mga beasts, mga alagang hayop, mga baka. No? Kasi mura eh. Merong bahagi sa batas ni Moises para sa mga tao, particularly mga babae na nahuli sa akto ng pakikiapid. And during those times, most of those women are considered prostitutes. Na a way to retribute for their sins, no? Para sila ay makapagbigay o makapagbayad o makapag-alay sa templo bilang tanda ng pagbabayad puri sa kanilang kasalanan sa pakikiapid o sa pagiging prostitute ay ang pag-o-offer. At ano mostly ang ino-offer ng mga prostitutes? Barley loaves, kasi that's all that they can afford. Besides, yung symbolism ng barley. Because barley loaves are used to feed beasts, these are also the loaves used by prostitutes to offer for their retribution. Why? Because yung kasalanan ng pagiging prostitute ay itinuturing nilang kasalanan ng mga beasts. Gawain ng isang beast. Gawain ng isang hayop. Kaya tama lang at bagay lang kung sila'y magbabayad puri, yung pagkain ng isang hayop, pagkain ng pagiging makahayop. Ito yung uri ng tinapay. Ito yung uri ng pagkain na meron itong batang lalaking ito. Kung tutuusin, nung sabihin ni Andres, anong kwenta naman nito? I would like to take those words of Andrew, what will this be good for, on 2 accounts. Una, 5 tiraso lang ito as to the multitude of people. In terms of number, anong magagawa nito? Anong mabuting idudulot nito? 5 piraso versus napakarami, 5,000 men. What about women and children? With 5 loaves, figures in number. Gusto kong dagdagan. Anong kabutihan nito? Napakababang uri ng tinapay lang ito. Hindi lang kakapurit sa bilang, halos walang kwenta pa ang uri ng tinapay na ito. Mumurahin, pagkain ng hayop, pambayad puri ng mga taong makahayop. Pero ano ang naging tugon ni Jesus? He took these barley loaves, itong uri ng tinapay na ito, and gave thanks to God. And gave thanks to God. Maring walang silbi, walang kwenta, walang halaga para sa nakararami. Pero para kay Jesus, hindi. Bagay na napakahalaga. Bagay na ipinagpapasalamat sa Diyos. Bakit? Sapagkat kahit na pinakamababang uri ng tinapay, pero biyaya ng Diyos, pagpapala ng Diyos, ipinagpasalamat ni Jesus. Sa punto pong ito, tanungin natin ang ating mga sarili. Mapagpasalamat ba tayo sa Diyos kung ano ang meron tayo? Kapurit man, konti man, maliit man, gaano tayo mapagpasalamat sa Diyos? Maaaring para sa paningin ng iba, walang kwenta, walang silbi. Pero para sa atin na meron nito, are we grateful? Are we thankful to God? Siguro, kung meron tayong ganitong attitude, ganitong disposition, na anumang meron tayo, kahit na kokonti ito, kahit na napakaliit nito, kahit na mumurahin ito, kahit na purik ito, kahit na sa paningin ng iba, walang halaga, walang kwenta, pero kinikilala nating biyaya, ipagpapasalamat natin sa Diyos. For a person who has that sense of gratitude, for a person who is thankful for anything that he has, is a person who is happy. A person who is happy. A person who can be contented in such a particular situation, in such a particular condition, in such a particular circumstance. Bakit? Sapagkat masasabi niya sa kanyang sarili, kahit mahirap ang buhay, kahit na mayroong crisis na katulad ng kinalalagyan natin, mayroong pagpapala ang Diyos sa buhay ko. And for sure, walang sense of bitterness. Walang sense of bitterness. Walang masaklap na buhay. Dahil marunong kumilala ng biyaya at pagpapala ng Diyos. Kaya ipinagpapasalamat. Ipinagpapasalamat kasi pinagpapahalagahan. Ano man ang meron, konti man, maliit man, wala mang halaga sa paningin ng ibang tao. Pero katulad ni Jesus, ito'y bagay na ipinagpapasalamat. Ipinagpapasalamat. Bago nagsimula ang misa, I was told, anong desisyon ng presidente tungkol sa ating ECQ? NCR, Region 3, what else? Extended ang ECQ until May 15. For the rest, may modification. I wonder, ano kaya ang feeling? Ano kaya ang feeling natin? Mga nasa NCR, tayo na nasa Region 3, kaugnay dito. Masaya ba tayo sa desisyon? Grateful ba tayo? Nauunawaan ba natin? O bitter tayo? Kasi, well, of course, realistically speaking, ang hirap na eh. Ang hirap na ng buhay. Diba? Sabi nga, kukunti na lang yung mga nagpupunta sa grocery stores. O perhaps even sa palengke. Bakit? Wala ng pera? Kinakapos na? Paano nga ba ang buhay natin for the next 2 more weeks? For the next 2 more weeks. More than 2 weeks. Are we confident enough that what could have led the president to decide on this manner is what is good, if not better perhaps, for our situation, for our condition, due to circumstances that have been taken into consideration? Well, oo, mahirap. Pero ano kaya ang mas nagpapahirap pa dito? Mabigat. Pero ano kaya ang mas nagpapabigat sa sitwasyon natin? Masakit mang aminin, masakit mang haripin. Pero yun ang totoo. Kasi sa kabila ng lahat ng sitwasyon natin, na alam naman natin na maliwanag kung ano ang hinihingi nito sa atin, kung anong itinatawag nito sa atin, pero marami pa rin sa atin ang nananatili sa ating pagiging makasarili. Marami pa rin sa atin ang nananatili sa ating pagiging maramot. Marami pa rin sa atin nananatili na walang pakialam sa ating kapwa. Why? We continue to remain in that sense of attitude and disposition, for I'm okay and others are not okay, I am okay. Indifferent. Kapag sa walang bahala, walang pakialam. Dahil dito, hanggat magagawang makapanlamang ng kapwa, gagawin. Hanggat magagawang mandaya, mandadaya. Kaya lalong bumibigat ang sitwasyon natin. Sabi nga ni Father kahapon sa homily niya, the fact na kaninang umaga sa pagbukang liwayway, nasilayan mo pa ito, ibig sabihin buhay ka pa. Salamat! Dahil may kasabihan tayo, habang may buhay, may pag-asa. Kahit na sa sitwasyong ito, meron, and I suppose, marami pa rin tayong magagawa if we can only be creative enough to what we can possibly do each day. Marami. Kung magagawa lamang natin kilalanin kahit na ano yung maliit na meron tayo. Sabi nga kahapon, yung kalusugan na meron tayo. Ipinagpapasalamat ba natin? The fact that we are together as a family, magkakasama tayo. Although, may mga nagsasabi, marami ring naaabuso sa ganitong sitwasyon. May mga ugnayang nagkakasira sa ganitong sitwasyon. Bakit? Oo nga naman, ano? Sa 6 na linggo, magkakasama in the 4 corners of the homes where we are in. Bagay perhaps na hindi nangyayari before. Mahaba na yung oras o araw na magkakasama at pagkatapos hindi pa direktang nagkakaugnayan sa isa't isa. Ba? Yung isang kaibigan, kausap ko kahapon. O, anong ginagawa niyo? Yung mga bata, kumusta? O yun, kanya-kanya ng mga gadget na hawak sa maghapon. Until sa time na suwayin mo, o tama na yan, kakain na tayo. O tama na yan, matulog na. Kanya-kanya pa rin. Diba? At least, with the gadgets of communications that we have, di ba? We are being updated to what's happening around the world. Pero, yung communication gadget na yon, which is supposed to be a communication of being with one another, with the sense of comprehension that was even emphasized yesterday, to be able to understand each other by trying to come to know each other quite well in every single day that we are together in the house. What's happening? We continue to be separated. We continue to be isolated because we continue to be individualistic. Kanya-kanya pa rin. Has there been any moment in which we have gathered? Oh, 6 weeks na tayo, naka-quarantine. Kumusta na ba ang bawat isa sa atin dito? Oh, ikaw misis ko, ikaw mister ko, kumusta ka na? How are you? What's going on within you? Oh, kayong mga anak, kumusta ba kayo? I know, naiinip kayo. Pero, nai-enjoy ba natin ang company ng isa't isa? Nai-enjoy ba natin? Na-appreciate ba natin na nagagawa nating magkasalo-salo? Sabay-sabay tayong kumakain. Kahit na anuman ang meron tayo, at least nagkakasalo-salo tayo. Nagkakakwentuhan man lamang ba kayo? Because we try to appreciate every single moment that we have. Some time ago, meron akong kaibigan. Sabi niya, Father, yung mga anak ko, pag umuwi ako doon sa amin, dahag ko sila, nararamdaman ko parang may resistance. Dati-rati, pag dumating ako, naniyakap ko, gustong-gusto nila, kinikis ko. Ngayon, dahil malalaki na sila, parang ayaw na, parang nahihiya na hinahag ko. Ngayon, kapag nagsasalita ako, ang labas ko parang kontrabida na ako. Ay, nako. Habang lumalaki, tumatanda mga anak, parang lalo silang napapalayo kahit na nandiyan sila physically. But now that they are there is this sense of presence. Pero nararamdaman ba natin yung presence ng bawat isa? Alam niyo, napakaliliit lang na bagay ito kung tutuusin. Pero napaka-significant kung talagang titignan natin. Yet, ipinagpapasalamat ba natin? Ina-appreciate ba natin? Pinagpapahalagahan ba natin? Like what Jesus did with those 5 barley loaves. Those 5 cheap loaves. Dalawang kilong bigas. 2 latang sardinas. Wala na bang iba dyan? Puro sardinas. Ngayon sabi nila nagkakaubos na ng sardinas. Kaya corned beef, luncheon meat, sa ibang lugar, no? Manok na mismo. Yung buhay, o patay, dressed chicken, bahala na silang magluto. Diba? Siguro kung hindi nagkaroon ng problema sa mga baboy, maraming baboy, baka pati yun, ipamimigay na rin ang buhay. Bakit? Kasi nagko-complain tayo. Sardinas na naman. 2 kilong bigas lang. Diba? Do we realize, nahihirapan na rin ang ating pamahalaan? Naalala ko tuloy, yung Pondong Pinoy. Ano ang sistema at proseso ng Pondong Pinoy? 25 centimos lang ang hinihingi. Magbigay ka ng 50, hindi tatanggapin. 25 centimos lamang, 25 centavos only. Bakit? Ano ang prinsipyo? Kahit maliit, basta't malimit, abot hanggang langit. Ano kaya? Kung ang bawat isa sa atin, kahit na 25 centimos lang, kung ang bawat isa sa atin, kikilos, magkakaisa, mag-aambag 25 centimos bilang tulong natin sa ating pamahalaan upang merong patuloy na ipamigay na ayuda sa bawat isang mamamayan, katulad ng narinig natin sa buhay ng mga unang Kristiyano, how they live their lives as Christian community, sharing everything in common. Walang nangangailangan, no one was wanting because everyone was sharing. And what was collected, what were gathered, were divided and distributed, not in accordance with what they have given and shared, but in accordance with what is needed by anyone. Hindi ayon sa kung magkano ang binigay, kung hindi ipinamahagi ayon sa pangangailangan ng bawat isa. Hindi equitable sharing, no rather, hindi equal sharing but equitable sharing. Kasi para sa atin, what is just equal sharing? Wala sa vocabulary natin yung equitable. What is equitable? According to needs. Dahil mismong sa tahanan natin, hindi yan ang practice. Ang practice sa tahanan natin, sa pool ang mga bata ay maliliit pa, equal sharing. Equal distribution. Otherwise, it is unfair. Otherwise, it is so unjust. Come to think of it, depleted na ang pondo ng gobyerno. Simulan natin sa ating barangay, sa maliit na pamayanan. Mag-ambag-ambag tayo, kahit na magkano, kung ano yung meron, kung ano yung kaya, kung ano yung bukal sa puso, para sa lahat. At yung mga tagapangasiwa at tagapamahala, magiging katulad ng mga alagad, magiging makatotoo at magiging tapat sa pangangasiwa at pamamahala. Kay ganda ng buhay. Why? Because everyone is coming from that sense of gratitude as an expression of that recognition that however little we have, biyaya ng Diyos, pagpapala ng Diyos na dapat ipagpasalamat. Ang taong tunay na mapagpasalamat dahil marunong kumilala sa biyaya ng Diyos ay mapagbahagi, mapagbigay. Bukas palad. Bukas palad. Why? Kasi kahit na marami ka, kahit marami kang pera, marami kang ari-arian, pero kung hindi ka marunong mapagpasalamat dahil hindi ka marunong kumilala ng biyaya ng Diyos, sapagkat kahit na yung daming iyon para sa iyo, kulang pa sa iyong sarili, you would not even dare think of sharing. Perhaps, we ask, hindi kaya ito ang bagay na kulang at patuloy na hinihintay ng Diyos sa atin for Him to be able to perform the miracle that we so long for? Hindi kaya ito ang hinihintay ng Diyos sa ating lahat for Him to be led to perform the miracle that we have been praying for, that we have been begging for, to heal the world, to put a stop into this crisis? Sa palagay nyo, baka ito yung hinihintay sa atin ng Diyos. Itong material na ito, yung magmumula sa bawat isa sa atin. God knows what He needs to do. Alam niya kung anong kailangan niyang gawin. There is no question kung alam ba niya ang kaya niyang gawin. Alam niya yan. Pero katulad ng ipinakita niya sa ating ebanghelyo ngayon, meron siyang hinihingi sa atin. Sinong tutularan natin? Ang halimbawang ipinakita ni Felipe, pessimistic attitude, o ang halimbawang ipinakita ni Andres, kahit na mayroong konti na pag-aalilangan sa kung ano ang magagawa ng kakapurit at walang kwentang uri ng mga tinapay. Hindi kaya yan ang hinihintay sa atin? Hindi kaya yan? In simple terms, ako na ang magkukusang mag-i-impose sa aking sarili na kung hindi kinakailangan, hindi ako lalabas. For the sake not only of my personal safety, not only for the safety of my family, but for the sake of the rest, ako na mag-i-impose sa akin ng disiplina. Kung lalabas ako dahil may pangangailangan, I will keep that distance, that social distancing. Ako na mag-i-impose sa aking sarili. Out of love, out of concern, meron ako, silipin ko nga yung kapitbahay ko. Kumusta kayo dyan? May pagkain pa po ba kayo? Okay ho ba kayo? Ito ho, oh. Share tayo. Kung hindi nga lang sana sa demand ng social distancing, punta ho kayo dito sa bakuran ko. Magsalo-salo tayo. Diba? Oh, but because there is a demand for social, ito ho, oh. Sensado ho kayo, pagdamutan nyo ito. Nakita nyo, kung ang bawat isa sa ating ganon, meron pa kayang magkukulang, meron pa kayang mangangailangan, meron kayang maghihirap. Wala. Tayo na mapaglamang. Hingi na ako ng hingi, asa na ako ng asa. Pero ano ginagawa ko sa buhay ko? Puro pasasa. Magdalang hiya naman tayo. Baka naman, wala ka na ngang inaambag sa ikabubuti ng bansa mo, wala ka pang iniisip, kundi puro sarili mo, mahiya ka! Tapos magsasanhi ka pa ng problema, dagdag problema sa bansa, dagdag problema sa pamayanang kinabibilangan mo. Mahiya ka. Kung nasaktan ka sa sinabi kong ito ngayon, pagkatapos ng COVID na ito, di puntahan mo ko, harapin mo ko. Hindi ako nangahamon ng away. Dahil habang sinasabi ko ito, sinasabi ko rito sa sarili ko, mahiya naman tayo kung hanggang sa sitwasyong ito, makasarili pa rin tayo. Diba? Maging bahagi tayo ng solusyon kaysa sa dagdag tayo sa problema. Katulad sa halimbawa ni Andres, katulad sa halimbawa ng batang ito na nagbigay daan upang mabuyo ang iba na magbigay at magbahagi ng sarili nila. Kaya sa pagpapatuloy na ating pagdiriwang sa misang ito, ulitin ko, hingin natin mula sa Diyos ang isang napakadakila, napakagandang milagro sa pagkakataong ito. Pero sana sa paghingi natin ng milagro, kaalinsabay niyan, ang pagtatalaga ng ating sarili. Panginoon, kung sa paggawa mo ng dakilang milagrong kailangan ng mundo ngayon, ay kailangan mo na gamiting material ang bawat isa sa amin, narito ako, narito kami, gamitin mo. Kung kami man ay katulad ng mga barley loaves, walang kwenta, walang silbi, dahil mahirap lang kami, ordinaryong tao lang kami, gamitin mo. Bakit? Sapagkat katulad ng ipinakita sa Ebanghelyo ngayon, whatever is little becomes so much when it is placed in the hands of Jesus. Here we are. Take us. Accept our humble self-offering and use us for you to perform so great a miracle in the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of this crisis of the world. Amen.